Hi everybody, so today I'm going to be sharing my opinion on whether lab-grown meats belong in the sustainable food system. The New York Times article I read, which addresses the issue, is titled Britain Approves Lab-Grown Meat for Pet Food. The article began by explaining that while lab-grown meat is still not legal for human consumption, the UK has been able to explore the concept on a smaller scale since they withdrew from the European Union, which had strict regulations on the development of lab-grown meat. Meatly is the company which plans to market this meat as a pet food. While the public is still on the fence about their opinion on human consumption of lab grown meat, the article states that 81% of people would consider feeding it to their pets. Advocates of the development of lab grown meat hope to take this foothold as an opportunity to scale up research and marketing of the product. A number of sustainability related pros for lab grown meat are provided in the article. One is that it could provide food security and independence in the face of pet population growth because an unlimited amount of meat can be grown from cells taken from one chicken egg one time. Following that logic is the point that the environmental footprint of our pets and livestock could be drastically reduced since we would lessen the amount of resources needed to raise livestock, effectively reducing the associated pollution. We would also be able to dedicate a lower proportion of our food to feed that livestock, which would make more agricultural land available for other uses and reduce agricultural water inputs. A benefit not discussed in the article is that meat growers would have power over the nutritional inputs added in the meat, and consumers would have less concern over pollution accumulated across trophic levels, potentially providing consumers with a more healthful alternative to livestock sourced meat. Some concerns for the marketing of lab grown meat could mirror the European Union's stance, which banned lab grown meats in part to protect the livelihoods of farmers. The loss of livestock farming as a livelihood would accompany the loss of generational farming knowledge and resources, which would cause a nation to become vulnerable in the event that policy shifted against lab grown meats, for example, because research developments down the line found its production or consumption to be harmful. Another concern is that lab grown meat would further disconnect our relationship with food, life, and sustenance. In the previous slide, where controlled nutrients could be considered a benefit, we can also see that as a concern if labeling is not regulated to provide the people with an awareness of what they are consuming. Finally, while lab grown meats are less water, food, and land intensive, their production remains energy intensive. So, does lab grown meat have a place in the sustainable food system? My answer is that it could. However, policy must prioritize awareness. I read another article where genetically engineered salmon were recently approved for production, but they did not need to be labeled. I think that labeling is important to allow a consumer to make an informed choice and for traceability in the event that adverse health effects are discovered. Before ending, I invite you to pause this video to read some of the questions that came to my mind as I worked on this project. Thank you.